June 26th and 27th were big nights for the Delaware County Democratic Party. The first Democratic presidential debates were being held, with 20 contenders in 2 nights. There was much excitement in the room both nights, people anxious to see how candidates, both theirs and others, would perform against one another, though there was also curiosity to see about what each candidate would say in support, from healthcare to foreign policy, as well as a general sentiment to being open-minded to each candidate. A good 15 to 20 people attended the events each night, all with a unique perspective on each of the candidates and policy questions. I was able to reach out and talk to a variety of individuals on an assortment of topics such as impeachment, their views on the candidates, their priorities for 2020, etc. Delaware County Democratic Party Chair Kevin Hendrick had much to say about these topics. Asking about his top issues and candidates, he had this to say.
I am concerned about climate change, but I am equally concerned about a candidate that has that as his only issue, because clearly there are other issues and many of them are related. Certainly looking at job creation from climate change is a valid position. Healthcare is really a top issue, and economy and jobs, because those are kitchen table issues. I think those are near the top. On immigration, it concerns me equally because this is a country of immigrants. I was impressed with Tulsi Gabbard, not having much information about her before. I thought she presented herself well. Elizabeth Warren is just a star. She is so knowledgeable about issues, and she can talk about more than one issue. I hear she has a plan for that. Beto O'Rourke is a very impressive individual. Least impressive, just based on this look, Delaney seemed a little out of his element. De Blasio, I thought, came across well. Julian Castro, very credible on the immigration.
Though Mr. Hendrick was clear that he was more interested in policy than endorsing a particular candidate, and emphasized the point that policy is a priority for the local party.
What we've been focusing on as a local party is focusing on policy issues, because those policy issues will be important regardless of which candidate ends up being the nominee. Policies like universal health care and $15 minimum wage, some of the policies that this committee has endorsed, like the Green New Deal.
City Council member Alex Fallman was in attendance at the event both nights, and I was able to get a few comments regarding his choice for the Democratic presidential nominee and why he picked that candidate.
Mayor Pete Buttigieg. He's young. He talks about generational change. Frankly, he's the only candidate that I've heard from throughout the campaign that he makes me want to be a better person. For me, it's more of his experience. As a councilman, I can appreciate somebody whose experience has been in local government, who's come up through working directly with the public, working directly with the community. I mean, all these senators and governors, they're in their big offices in Washington, D.C. or their state capitals, and sometimes it can seem more abstract.
He also commented on his candidate's position on the impeachment of President Donald Trump, as well as his own opinion on the subject.
No, Mayor Pete has been pretty straightforward in that he views his role as a candidate for president in getting Trump out of office through the electoral process. I think he respects separation of powers too much to want to go and push for impeachment.
Do you support impeachment if the House pursued impeachment?
I support an impeachment investigation.
Another individual I conversed with was Marion Isak, a local organizer for Senator Bernie Sanders, had much to say about the Democratic Party and the presidential candidates.
So they're all talking about different versions of Medicare for All and how we get there. 3 years ago, when this was brought up, it was considered way out there, way leftist, and now all of them are talking about it. So, I know Bernie is trying to get the Democratic Party back to its roots, back to the FDR Democrats, and I agree 100% with that. The corporations obviously have taken over both parties, but we have a movement now. We have a grassroots movement to take, if not the Democratic Party back to its roots, take the country back to where we're not corporate owned, we're not an oligarchy, we're a democracy, we're a republic with a democracy. And we have that opportunity in this next election. If we can get Bernie Sanders the nomination, we can get Bernie Sanders the presidency.
Additionally, she expressed her concern of a Biden presidency, stating that she would vote for Biden over Trump if it came down to it.
I'd have to choke on my bile and vote for him anyway, because I won't do another 4 years with this idiot in the White House.
But she noted that a Biden presidency would still be a negative overall for the United States.
No, it would hurt. It's going to hurt the country. He's not going to act on the climate crisis that we have right now. He's too much in corporate America's pocket, and he's going to seek common ground for big oil and big pharma, and he's going to help destroy the world. So, yeah, I don't think it'll help anything if Biden gets elected.
I also talked with Diana Ramsey, a Democratic Central Committee member. Ms. Ramsey noted that Medicare for All, tuition-free college, and climate change were among her top policy issues, though what was really interesting was her view on what the Democratic Party should be.
I feel they're more the elite. They have lost touch with the grassroots of the working class. We need to get back in touch with our roots.
She also expressed an important topic that she feels is not on the radar of many Democratic candidates.
And there's one question that I would really like to see asked is voter suppression. How are we going to deal with voter suppression? Making sure everyone has the right to cast a vote.
Lastly, I sat down and had a short interview with Will Meriwether, a professor of political science at the College of the Redwoods. We discussed some of the candidates he is interested in.
For me, it's Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and Christine Gillibrand, of possible individuals that I may vote for and look a little bit more deeply into,
as well as an interesting discussion on the term democratic socialism and what it means for the United States.
One of the things that both Hickenlooper and also kind of Warren is doing isn't saying let's push into socialism, let's adapt capitalism with a base social safety net, and really pushing the benefits of both capitalism as well as some of the benefits of democratic socialism that we already kind of have in the United States. Democratic socialism is a form of capitalism. No candidate on the stage is saying let's completely do away with private companies. They're talking about reforming it, government oversight. I think Hickenlooper and Warren did a good job of highlighting those aspects of we're going to reform aspects of capitalism.
Professor Meriwether also expressed his support for the impeachment of President Donald Trump, citing that the president has obstructed justice and views the impeachment as valid for the House of Representatives to pursue.
But impeaching is just saying that we believe that the president has done this, and I think the House of Representatives should vote for impeachment based on the fact that he has obstructed justice, and that was actually one of the cases to bring up impeachment for both Bill Clinton as well as Richard Nixon was part of obstruction of justice.
Both events were quite enjoyable and interesting due to the varying mixture of minds and attendees. If you are interested in attending events or meetings hosted by the Delaware County Democratic Party, you may contact them at 707-464-3120 or email them at dndems@gmail.com. Meetings are held the second Monday of every month at 5:15 p.m. at 1303 North Crest Drive. From KFUG Community News, this has been Brayden Hatch.